Good morning, teacher. Today I'm going to talk about the summary of the Canterbury Tales of Geoffrey Chaucer. First, I am going to talk about Sir Geoffrey Chaucer. He born in London in 1340 in the medieval Middle Age. He was an author and a poet of the English literature. Geoffrey Chaucer wrote his own style of poetry, and his masterpiece is the Canterbury Tales. Also, Geoffrey Chaucer served in the 100 Years' War like a soldier and like a diplomat, because he was a diplomat man. And as I mentioned before, his masterpiece is the Canterbury Tales, and in that poet or book of him, he writes about the cultural and the social complexities of that age in the medieval Middle Age. He showed us in that right how the medieval English society was. Also, Geoffrey Chaucer influenced the English literature, and that is very important today. Now I am going to talk about the Canterbury Tales. The Canterbury Tales was written in the middle age of the medieval age in England. The Canterbury Tales was written in the Middle English language because in those age the people spoke the Middle English. Maybe for that reason is that those stories or that book sounds a little bit confusing to us, because in those ages, as I mentioned before, the people spoke other type of English, like different like the English that we speak today. Also, in this age was characterized by the 100 Years' War, the Black Death, the feudal system, the Carta Magna, other problems or scenarios that affect the population in that age. And maybe those scenarios or those problems inspire Geoffrey Chaucer to wrote the Canterbury Tales and to wrote those stories. And I think that he was based on the people or the population of that age, the problems, the social classes, and all that those problems and people that live in that age. He inspired himself to wrote those stories. He was based, or he create those characters in the story in the Canterbury Tales based on that people or that scenarios at that age. Now I am going to talk about the characters of the Canterbury Tales. The characters of this story represent the different social classes, occupations, or personality of that age. And there are 20 pilgrims or characters in in the story. And the main character is the narrator, and the narrator is called Chaucer. Well, I am going to read the characters because there are a lot of characters. First, the knight, a kind and noble knight who has fought many battles. The wife of Bath, and a woman from Bath who has been married many times. The pardoner grants papal indulgences, but is a fraud and saves profit for himself. The miller, a bold man who often doesn't follow order. The prioress, a nun who is dainty, kind, and well-mannered. The monk, who loves hunting and including the fair, a Roman priest who takes brides. The summoner brings those who break church law to court. He has leprosy, drinks often, and he is unpleasant. The host, leader of the group, he facilitates the telling of the tales. The parson is the pastor of the town, the only good holy man. The squire, the knight's son. The clerk, a philosophy student who is very poor. The man of law, a lawyer who is commissioned by the king. The municipal, in charge of purchasing and storing food for a court. He is not educated but very intelligent. The merchant, trades force, upper class man. The shipman has long experience sailing. The physician, one of the best doctors but is greedy for money. The franklin, a free man who is not a sir or a noble. The reeve, a steward of a manor who is good at his job but steals from his lord. The plowman, parson's brother, he is a patient and good man. The guilesman, there are 5 of them, but always spoken about as one. They are like a common day labor, union, and craftsman. The cook, he works for the guilesman. The yeoman, servant of the knight and his son. The second nun, she does not have her own story, and the nun's priest also does not have his own story. There are all the characters in the Canterbury Tales, and also the stories of each character reflect the characteristic or a panoramic view of how the medieval society was in those age. Well, now I am going to talk about the summary of the Canterbury Tales. And well, the story begins with when the narrator joins a group of 29 pilgrims that travel to the shrine of St. Thomas Becket, which is in Canterbury, Kent. Also, the narrator describes all the characters or the pilgrims briefly. Along the way, the host suggests that the pilgrims should tell stories to pass the time, and each person must tell 2 stories on the way there and 2 stories on the way back from Canterbury. And the person who tells the best story will be rewarded with free meal at the tavern, say the host. Well, it was decided that the knight will go first to tell the story. And also that those tales or those stories cover a wide range of genres like romance, satire, allegory, a moral fable. And also those stories gave us a view of how the medieval English society was in that age. And well, to conclude, it's important to mention that the Canterbury Tales is an unfinished work because Geoffrey Chaucer did not finish that book or those stories. We will never know the other stories because there were more stories that he never wrote. Also, we will never know who won the contest. And that's it. Thank you, teacher.